Loyal viewer, and welcome to another unboxing and review. This time, unlike the Italeri sets, we'll be looking at an Emhar set, which is of the medieval Crested Knights. So, from the box art, we actually see the figures themselves, as opposed to an artist's rendition. So this is depicting some kind of tournament scene, and from the looks of it, it looks like quite a dynamic and varied set. So, let's actually flip it over and see what's on the other side. So, unlike the Italeri sets, which gives you a rudimentary painting guide, this gives you more of a view of what's actually inside the box. So, let's have a look. We can see that it's all in 1/72 scale, which is obviously the best scale. And yeah, I mean the choices and the options in this kit, unlike the others, is all interchangeable. So there's a lot of variety that you can put into these figures. You can really make them your own. And yeah, so I've got not just one box, not just two boxes. We've got a third one over here, and if you can see here, we've got another one over here. And the reason that we've got so many of these is because they're absolutely amazing. Of all the kits that I've ever bought, Citadel, Emhar, Kaiser Miniatures, this is my personal favourite. So let's just get stuck in, because this kit is just out the world. It is so good. So you can just have a look at that while I one-handedly dig into this box. And let's have a look at what your money gets you. Now, I got these from hannants.co.uk. I think I got my very first set from, I think, E-Models. And these retail for about £8. £8 or £9. So £9 gets you seven mounted knights, Crested Knights, and let me tell you, you get a lot in this kit. So on this like half sprue here, we've got shields, lances, and they're all numbered. So let's say you've got all these shields, you've got number 1 over there for the for this shield or helm or whatever it is, and they all correlate to their steeds. Now, it's a bit awkward doing this one-handed, so you'll just have to bear with me. And it's of a very posable plastic, so it's quite tensile. No, it's quite, well, whatever the metalworking term is for how well it snaps back into its original. So you get all these horses, 7 of which that are all cast in halves. And they're push fit, and they fit together quite neatly and flush. So you don't necessarily need glue, not for the mounts anyway. But obviously, if you drop them, you don't want them exploding all over the place. So let's have a look. Let's flip it over, because this represents what you're going to get a lot better. So, like I say, you've got the 3 points, which is like of the English nobility, signifies that they're a prince, that they're an heir to the throne. So yeah, you could scrape it off if you really wanted, or you could just paint it on. You could do a bit of headcanon and say that you're in a fantasy setting and there are all these different princes vying for the realm, or you could just paint them up and not really care so much, like I do. So yeah, you've got these there are 2 of these horses with stripe that's engraved on it, which comes sculpted with it, and I believe that there are 2 others, so there are 4 poses of horses. This one with the he's got a chainmail barding and a caparazon draped over him, and you see all these additional like swords, because you can choose to either arm, I believe, 5 of them with lances and spears, or you can have them with one-handed melee weapons like this chap here. And you've got an assortment of different helms. You've got this guy here who's wearing a crown, this one with a rather lovely hasket on. You've got a hound skull, you've got a frog mouth, you've got a horned helm, you've got a squire, and this chap, he's wearing what looks like a gambeson, and of course this is Edward the Black Prince's, no, that's on the other sprue, but you've got a lot of fancy crests on these helms, and if we look at this original, this half sprue here, what you'll see, let me just get this into focus, yes, there you go, that's, let's get you in focus here. You know, when I'm watching these YouTube videos, I'm like, oh man, you're not very good at cinematography, and now that I'm doing it one-handed off my phone, I should really keep my opinions to myself. So yeah, Edward the Black Prince famously had a very intricately designed and crafted helm with a dog on the top and some kind of ribbon along the back of it over some chainmail. So yes, many options, many different shields. After you've built all these, you will have a bit of leftover bits to go in your bit box, so that you can add a bit of character if you find it somewhat lacking, or you don't like the engraved shields on any of the Italeri sets. It's just a simple case of gluing them on, filing them down, doing whatever you will. So yes, you get the 6 armoured dudes here, with the front of the saddle sculpted on, which fits rather nicely. So yeah, very nice, and unlike my other Italeri kits, there we go, I've actually painted some of these. So let's just actually have a look. So I've already put these on the stand, these are all based. Yes, I know, historically inaccurate. I've made Edward the Prince without the princely 3 points on his shield, and maybe the fleur-de-lis could do with a bit more detailed, but at 1/72 scaled for a first attempt, this is as good as I can get it. So yeah, that's Edward the Black Prince, first Prince of Wales, and just some Purple Night, because, you know, Purple Rain is my favourite album, so I thought, hey, you know, let's do the Purple Night, why not? So yeah, you can see that these are fabulously sculpted and designed miniatures, and these are all painted in Citadel paints, as you can see in the background. I may do a painting guide on that, I'm not sure. I find that for what you pay, these are absolutely first rate. Yes, of course, you could probably get better value for money using other kits from other manufacturers, but I find that with the options that you get, and the actual quality of the sculpts, that these are just, for what you pay, they're magnificent, they really are. So yeah, like I say, I'm not exactly the greatest miniature painter in the world. Let's just turn it around. So there you have it, yeah. These are some of the figures that you can make. I kind of followed the box art on this one. Whether or not Edward the Black Prince had so many fleur-de-lis on his heraldry, I don't know. And let's just bring some of the other ones. And these are unbased, because I was going to do it this morning, but never got around to it. So yeah, for £9 you can make this, and I've still got a load of bits left over. I haven't made the grandstands or the tents or well, yeah, that's it. I've made all the knights, painted up the squire, stuck the squire on the base. All of the scenery I use, I think it's Geek Gaming or something, a base, battle ready base mix. I used, I think it's Arid Grassland for these, Gamer's Grass, Wildflowers for the flowers, and Geek Gaming Scenics, Dead, Grass Tufts, just to add a little bit of interest to the base. And these are mounted on 40 by 80 stands, so I haven't really delved too deep into wargaming rule sets that utilise these bases, but I just found that it's a good size. 20, you can get away with 20 by 40, but you can only obviously mount the individual troop. And the reason I went for these sets is because when they're all mounted, I plan on using them for War Master. I think these will do very well for Empire Knights. I have got some 10mm figures on the way, but they are of Mongolian Song Dynasty variety. Because I originally bought these 172 miniatures thinking, oh yeah, I'll be able to use these more or less one for one with War Master. No, they need to be 10mm. Otherwise, you might have to rebase stuff or use a bit of imagination. And as you can tell by these paint schemes, imagination probably isn't my strongest point. Aside from Edward, I didn't really do much in the way of freehand heraldry. The closest I got was this guy, and it ended up just looking like a smiley face. They're supposed to be 3 half moons. But like I say, for a first attempt at freehand heraldry, I was quite pleased. I've gone for kind of like a Games Workshop Citadel kind of fantasy, like Angry Sun heraldry. I'll try and focus it in. It's not having it. Let's just bring him over here and try and make him the sole focus. There we go. Yeah, you see that angry looking sun? So yeah, I won't be winning any Golden Demon awards, but I'd say for the trick to a good paint job is to have a good sculptor paint. The detail is crisp and lends itself very well to the paint for very low effort. Like this guy, I just painted in black because everybody needs a black knight. 'Tis but a scratch. It's only a flesh wound. So yeah, no, these are fabulous. I can't recommend these enough. If you've got a spare tenner lying around, get yourself online. Just type in Medieval Crested Knights. They're usually the first ones. PSR gave it a near perfect review. I'm a bit more generous with my reviews. I'd give this a solid 6 out of 5. I just love them. They're just really, really good. You can use them for tournament scenes. You could use them just as bog standard knights for your war games. You could display them to a lot higher level. Really go into it with the historical accuracy. So yeah, glowing review from me. 3 thumbs up. Get yourself a set, because of all the ones I've reviewed so far, these are my favourite. Like I say, I've painted and assembled a lot of miniatures over my years, and these are, just in terms of fun and interest and enjoyability of painting, these are definitely some of the best, because they're so simple. You can knock one of these out in a day easily, depending on how far you're going to go with the heraldry. I've done these over the course of a week after work. Like I say, I haven't quite finished the bases. I haven't mounted them on stands. That would be the next thing. I might end up doing a painting guide on them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it, because I just can't recommend them highly enough. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.